This morning and to ask you to be our keynote speaker. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Nick. Warren Reynolds, the Honorary Consul for Belarus, Michael Johnson, the Mayor of the Upper Hunter, Dmitry Lukashenko, and Igor Lokhtier, our other friends from Belarus, ladies and gentlemen. It may sound amazing when I tell you that a little over 13 years ago, on the eve of the staging of the Olympic Games in Sydney, the World Economic Forum had a seminar in Melbourne. And it was the habit of the World Economic Forum to have seminars on the eve of Olympic Games. And at that seminar there were a lot of experts, and I put that in inverted commas given what I'm about to tell you. A lot of experts came from around the world, and they held forth with great pomposity about the challenges of the Australian economy. And it was a consensus of many of those experts that Australia had a difficult economic future. And this was the year 2000. And the reason that we had a difficult economic future was that we relied far too heavily on what were described as old industries. And those old industries were agriculture and mining. And I'm sure that many of those experts would be embarrassed to be reminded of those doleful predictions that were made just 13 years ago. And it's one of the interesting things when you reflect on the mining industry in Australia, and a lot of people are reflecting on the mining industry in Australia in all sorts of different ways at the present time. It's interesting to reflect that the real boom in the mining industry, which is the subject of avaricious gaze from some people who see more taxation revenue, from others who see the mining industry as a continuing opportunity for the economic growth and strength of this country, it's important to remember that the real boom years of the Australian mining industry have only been in the last decade or so. So today is an opportunity above all else to celebrate the colossal success of the mining industry in this country, and to reflect with legitimate pride not only on the way in which we have skillfully exploited what Providence gave us, and that is remarkable natural resources, but also the way in which Australia has become an exemplar of good mining practice around the world. We're not only good at efficiently extracting resources, but we also, touching on what Nick referred to earlier, we are very good at maintaining high safety standards. I've been told by numerous people involved in the mining industry in the United States, in South Africa, in Europe, and in Asia, I've been told how well Australia compares with the rest of the world when it comes to safety in the mining industry. We were reminded yesterday by a survey covered extensively in the Australian newspaper of what a massive contribution the mining industry makes to employment through many sectors of the Australian economy. Mr. Sharp has reminded us of the way in which he has built a thriving business based on repairs to mining equipment and other activities associated with the mining industry. The mining industry, of course, in the last 30 or 40 years has not only drawn into its orbit people born in this country, but also, as we are particularly reminded today, people born in different parts of the world. It ought to be a source of pride to post-World War II Australia that a man born in Estonia in the 1930s, Avi Parvo, who arrived in Australia without being able to speak a word of English, ended up as the chairman of the big Australian BHP. And of course today we welcome with open arms and warm friendship the Belaz company, their representatives, their executives from the Republic of Belarus. And Warren Reynolds has enlightened us, certainly enlightened me, on some of the Australian business activities in Belarus and the economic opportunities that are available. And every chance that this country can take to expand its economic and trade links with different parts of the world, it ought to embrace. Now, can I say that I have never seen anything quite like those huge dump trucks. I have never seen anything like them. They are amazing. You know, I mean, I'm as Nick said, I started off as a sort of a humble solicitor, and then I became a humble politician, although some people suggest politicians are never humble, but I did my best, and I have never seen anything quite like that. And to think that, you know, a third of all of them are manufactured by this one company, and a third of all of them around the world come from Belarus. It is a remarkable achievement. And I want to congratulate APEG on its initiative. I want to join others in wishing APEG well for what lies ahead. Vigorous marketing of a good product is always a simple recipe for success, coupled, of course, with very good after-sales service. And I'm quite sure that all of those associated with this particular product are going to live by that mantra and see that those three things are fulfilled. But it is very much a day to pause and reflect on the success of this mining industry, and also to remember the way in which Australians have always been able to adapt. Now, we are having this gathering in the Hunter. Now, the Hunter is a story of a region of Australia changing according to changing circumstances. I was Prime Minister of Australia when the steel industry in effect came to an end in Newcastle. And I remember the sense of gloom and despair that descended upon the city of Newcastle. And yet there were plenty of people, including many who'd been associated with the steel industry in that city, who said, we have to move on. We must stop lamenting the closure of the steel industry. And the Hunter has moved on. It's diversified. Many Australians now naturally associate the Hunter Valley area of Australia with the wine industry, and rightly so. But it's become a great educational area. It's diversified its mining activities. Newcastle, many people say, is one of the best kept secrets in Australia. It's a beautiful city, has very attractive beaches, and it has, as a community, it's embraced the change that was needed when it was no longer viable to have a steel industry in that city. Now, that is really a tribute to so many people who are here today, and to the industries that they run and the industries that they represent. And what the modern Australia has done is to adapt. All countries have to adapt economically. And just as 60 years ago or more, when I was growing up, it was fair to say that many people did say that Australia survived on the sheep's back. It's equally true to say that in the last 5 years, the thing, along with the fine state of the Australian economy, which my government left behind when it was defeated in 2007, the other thing that has done wonders and has really enabled Australia to dodge the bullet of the global financial crisis is that wonderful conjunction of circumstances that God gave us all these resources, and the nations of North Asia wanted to buy them, and buy them in abundance. Those two things together have enabled Australia to avoid the worst excesses of the global financial crisis. But it wasn't just the accident of providence, it was also the fact that we had the wherewithal, the know-how, the adaptability, the engineering and extractive genius, if I can put it that way, to exploit these wonderful resources. And we've done it, and it's no accident that Australia as a mining industry is respected all around the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am really delighted to be here today. I want to wish APEC well. Can I say to the representative of the President of Belarus, please convey to your President my warmest good wishes. He's been in office since 1994. He's certainly durable, and that is a remarkably long period of time. But I do hope that you enjoy your time in Australia. People from all around that part of the world have made their home in Australia and have contributed enormously to the growth and the diversification of the modern Australia, of which all of us are so proud. Thank you for having me, and I hope it's a wonderfully successful commercial venture. I can say this without fear of contradiction, that this is a company whose product will really be noticed wherever it goes. Thank you.